Alive. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to another episode of The World Works Online, a global system that works for anyone, anywhere, at any stage. I'm so excited to be with all of you here tonight because this topic we are going to talk about is honestly one of the biggest reasons that I'm still on this journey today. But before we get right into it, allow us to introduce who we are. My name is Dorcas. I'm originally from Ghana. I'm a mom of two amazing kids. I live here in Australia with my beautiful family. I'm a former healthcare worker by profession and now a proud digital business owner. Over to you, Sis Nandini.
नमस्ते, मैं नंदिनी हूँ, मैं इंडिया में रहती हूँ, मैं एक माँ हूँ और मैं एक डिजिटल बिजनेस ओनर हूँ. Hi, I'm Nandini. I live in India. I'm the mother of two kids and a very proud digital business owner. Over to you, Sis Rana.
Mayong buntag sa tanan. Ako di ay si Rona. I am originally from Siquijor, Philippines, now living here in Maine, USA for 12 years. I am a mom, a wife, a healthcare worker, and also a proud digital business owner. Over to you,
All
Coach Jam.
right. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. Hello, hello, everybody. Magandang umaga, magandang gabi. Ako po si Jel. I am a mom of two. I am a wife to an OFW. We're based here in Papua New Guinea. I have over a decade of experience in corporate HR and executive recruitment, and also a proud digital business owner. Well, yeah.
My name is William. I live in Fiji, and I live with my parents and my siblings. I've been working for over a year now in finance admin, and I'm also a musician and a skateboarder, and I run this online business on the side alongside my full-time job. Pinaka.
Hello. Magandang buhay na imbagal daw. Rabiing, awan labas na. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching right now. My name is Alvina, a wife, an educator by profession, a proud Ilocana from Isabela, Philippines, now living here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, together with my husband, and I'm a business owner, doing the business part-time alongside with my job.
All right. Thank you guys for introducing yourself. So tonight we are going to talk about why this business isn't just about earning. It's about success. It's about access. And I really want us to think deeply for a moment and think of the word access. Before I found this opportunity 2.5 years ago, I honestly thought success was mostly about money, right? I thought if I could just earn more, then everything would change. But what I didn't realize was that sometimes the biggest thing keeping us stuck is not just lack of money, it's lack of exposure, lack of being in the right rooms, lack of hearing bigger conversations, lack of learning from people who have already done what we want to do, right? Or what we are trying to do. So for me personally, this business gave me access to things I never had before. Access to mentors who were willing to share their knowledge and not gatekeep, right? Access to people from different countries and backgrounds, just like you guys on the screen right now, right? People who think differently and dream bigger. Access to personal growth, access to knowledge I would never have learned in my normal everyday life. And honestly, that changed me more than anything else. Because when you start hearing different conversations, your mindset changes, right? When you start seeing ordinary people build extraordinary things, you begin to think, maybe I can do this too. I remember, before this, I used to see people, I always share this, I used to see people working online, and then I would scroll past because I genuinely thought, you know, um, working online was for people that had everything, people that had probably marketing degrees or people that had huge followers, just like some of us think, right? That I can't work online because I don't have huge followers. Yes, I also thought of that. But this business exposed me to the truth. Most successful people started with little knowledge, with little experience. That is what I got to realize, right? They had they just had access to the right mentorship, the right environment, but most importantly, they were willing to learn. And that's why I always say that this is bigger than just income, because we know money is good, money can help you survive, but access can completely change your future. Access changes how you think, how you dream, how you see yourself. And for many of us, especially immigrants, parents, nurses, hardworking professionals, sometimes all we need is to finally be exposed to something bigger than what we've always known. And that is what this business did for me. For someone who was introvert, someone who was shy, this business gave me access to growth. It made me confident. It gave me, access to a huge supportive community and opportunities I never imagined for myself. So tonight, as you listen to everyone sharing their stories, I hope you realize that sometimes one decision, one environment, one conversation can completely shift the direction of your life. So stay tuned and be inspired by our journey today. Over to you, Sis Nandini.
Thank you, Dorcas. That was really wonderful. So, yeah, you know, this business is not just about earning, it's so much more. Last year, in 2025, we were awarded the best digital online business in the world. And let me tell you why I think we got that. Because in our business, the two founders were experienced online coaches and they realize that when you do an online business, there's just you and your device, your computer or your phone, and you on the other side, one lone person. And like Dorcas has to scroll past um, offers to do a digital business because I thought digital business it would be so dry. I'm a people person. I need to communicate. I need to share my love. I need to share my ideas. And I would just scroll past. But this digital business I joined because I didn't have a choice. But when I joined, I realized something that it was so much more than just about earning money. It was about the holistic person and the basis of what we do. And I think that's why we were rewarded because, yes, the people here, their earnings are amazing. But I know why they are amazing. Because we look at the totality of the human being. You tell me you are super rich, okay? But in your personal mindset, you think you're not worth it. How long do you think that super rich is going to work? Because part of you thinks you're not worth it. So, yeah, that will also come down to that not worth it. So, we have to look at every aspect of the person. The minute you join this business, you are given access to leadership qualities, to leadership trainings, to mentorship trainings, to be the best version of you, whether it's your finances, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, looking after every part of you. Every part of you is nurtured, nourished, cherished, and you are asked to look after it. So, it's this umbrella of what would I say, caretaking of the human being. Today, if I'm stuck with anything, I can just send a message to Dorcas or to Jill or to Rana or William and say, listen, I'm stuck here. Can you help me? And we'll hop onto a Zoom call. And yeah, I know that thing will be sorted out. And I will do the same for them. So we have a digital global family that we have access to all times, at all times. I have AI training, which I have access to at all times. I have marketing training, which I have access to at all times. We are taught how to even do chat GPT, the best way to get the best of chat GPT, the best way to get the best of AI. It's very rare, I think. So I know one thing that in this digital business, we have been voted the best in the world, not only because the earning scalability is so high, but basically the person scalability is so high. You get to really fine tune who you are. And that part I just love. So you're looked after holistically in a wholesome manner. And that is definitely very rare. Thank you. Over to you, Sister Rana.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. So when I first started this business, I honestly thought it was mainly about making extra income. And yes, it is about earning first, but I won't pretend it isn't. But the truth is, when I first started, The income didn't just come right away for me. And I remember that feeling, that mix of excitement and doubt, wondering if I was doing it right, wondering if it would really work for me. But instead of getting discouraged, I made a decision. I was going to keep going. I focused on myself, I work on my mindset, I learned new skills, and slowly I started stepping out of my comfort zone, even when it felt uncomfortable. And that's where the real growth started for me, not just in business, but personally too. Because I started realizing this wasn't just about posting or learning strategies, it was about becoming someone new. And through this journey, I was connected with people who are already successful in this business. And one thing they always remind me is this: everyone has their own journey. That reality helped me because it stopped me from comparing my beginning to someone else middle or success, right? The mentorship here has been amazing. I have access to training anytime I need it. There are weekly trainings where real people share real experiences, not just theory, but what actually worked for them, what didn't, and how they kept going. And being in that kind of environment changes you. It pushes you to think differently. It pushes you to grow, and it pushes you to believe that maybe you can do this too, even if you're still figuring things out. And that's when I realize is this: yes, this business can create income, but for me the biggest transformation has been everything that come with it: the access, the mentorship, the growth, the mindset shift, and the reminder that I didn't have to do this alone. It's about learning, failing, adjusting, and becoming better along the way. And through all of that, I've started thinking differently, not just about money, but about life, about creating freedom, more time with my family, and building something that allows me to give back to the people who sacrifice so much for me, especially my parents. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about earning, it's about becoming someone capable of creating better future for myself and the people I love most. And if you are someone who's been feeling like there has to be more than just working and getting by, I just want to say, I get it. You don't have to have everything figured out, but you do have to start somewhere. And if you ever want to know what this journey looks like or what we've been doing behind the scenes, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we're always open to sharing. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sis Rona. I totally agree. Thank you so much, everyone. So, for me, this business was really never just about the earning, not the money. Of course, income was important in the beginning because, like everyone else, we wanted stability. We all want options. We wanted freedom, right? We want a better future for our family. But as I stayed longer in this business, I just realized that the biggest value it gave me was really access to everything that we have here in this business, because it's only here in this business where I was able to experience real time freedom and flexibility without sacrificing our income. I am able to be with my kids, to be present with my family, to enjoy life with them, and at the same time still grow something meaningful for our future, for the future of our kids, maybe to support our retirement, right? But more than that, this business gave me access to people that completely change the way I think, really totally different. And these are the people from different countries, different culture, different background, just like, the people here in front of you, but all with big goals and the same desire to grow. We have almost the same why for our family, for ourselves. And being surrounded by those kinds of people really pushes you to level up as well, right? The energy, it's contagious, right? So I've learned things here that I honestly never learned in the corporate, because in my corporate career, I've learned a lot of technical skills related to HR, people management, recruitment, leadership in corporate setting. And I'm very, very grateful for that because it really shaped me professionally. But the skills that I'm learning in this business are it's completely different. Like here, I learned social media marketing, advertising, business operations, automation, right? What Sis Nandini mentioned about AI, ChatGPT, communication, content creation, leadership, mindset development. We always talk about that. And I think one of the biggest things this business improved in me is my ability to lead and to help people from different walks of life, right? Because when you're building a global business, you learn how to communicate with different personalities, different culture, different ways of thinking. And those are skills that will stay with us for life. We can use it not only in this business, but also, if we wanted to set up another traditional business in the future, personal projects or if I want to go back to corporate, I can still use that, right? And what amazes me is that we get access to all of these trainings, mentorship, learning opportunities inside our business. And these are the things that people normally spend thousands and thousands of dollars learning outside. But here we get to get all of this learning for free while we are building our own business, and we're also improving ourselves personally and professionally. And that's why for me this business is not just an income opportunity, it's really a personal growth journey. You become better while building this business. And if you're someone right now who wants to start something on the side, something that can help you grow personally, professionally, financially, while still giving you that flexibility and freedom, this is one of the best things that you can explore because you're not just building income here in this business, you are building yourself, your skills, your confidence, your connections, your leadership, and a completely different future for yourself and for your family. Thank you so much. William?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Um, um, if I'm being honest, I am very grateful for the things that I have, for my job, my family, um, all the skills that I've been able to develop, and the people around me, my friends and family. And I noticed that like we, we spend a lot of time on our phones, scrolling social media, and I would see people like building their own businesses online, traveling and talking about freedom and all of this stuff. Everyone's like familiar with this, and my first impression on that was um I wouldn't say it wasn't all inspiration. My first thought would have been like, oh, that looks nice, or wow, they got lucky, or they have something that I don't. Well, that's that's basically like where my head was at. And like I would assume that online business owners, they had some kind of unfair advantage, or more connections, or they had better opportunities, things that I didn't have. Me being in Fiji, being in like the Pacific, or a place, small island countries which are still developing. So I used to I used to wonder, like like how does that work? How do you get there? And uh, when I realized that the real problem wasn't money, or like or skills, it was actually um just my environment and the way I think. And usually we see the world around us the way that um, we've learned from our environment and how we're brought up. And when I finally stepped into this business, I realized one thing, that the people in this community who were doing well, they weren't lucky, they weren't special, they weren't born into it. They had access to the right systems and um, support in order to help them grow, not just in the business, but them as a on their personal journey. So they had access to mentors who had already built their businesses, and coaches as well. There were people who would share their story, share um, um, the struggles that they went through and how they overcame them. And so, for me, that really changed the way I thought about, um, I guess you can say, people who run their business online or who earn online. And it made me think outside of the box, because the norm, especially for us, when you're growing up in like a rather traditional environment and culture, there's there's the traditional pathway, um, um, and I don't mean to throw shade on anything, but from my understanding, like, we're told, you know, to get good grades and to find a secure job and work, which is great, which is good. But then you also have to think about the potential if you're willing to take the brave step and try to build something for yourself rather than um, just doing what everyone else is doing for the sake of it. And yes, that's one thing that for me, this business, the biggest win for me, I guess, would have to be um, the personal, um, the journey that it puts you through in order for you to grow, the skills that you learn, and the connections that you build. So here we are, over um, 6 different locations around the world. Um, you get to see how big the world is, and after all, the internet is only growing every day, and the world really works online now. I mean, that's the way that the world's developing. So for me, it's more of a personal growth journey, and also it's all thanks to the access that we get from the systems that we have in place and the people that we're around, um, all the stories that are shared, and all the lessons that we can learn from each other. Um, yep, that's about it for me. Pinakapaglevel.
Thank you, William. Thank you, everyone. So, why this business is not just about earning, it's about access. I want to share something from my experience because when people hear business, the first thing they usually think about is money, earning more, making extra income, and maybe even financial freedom. And yes, that's part of it, right? But what I realized on my journey is this business is not just about earning, it's about access. Let me share about a bit of my background. Like many of us, especially Filipinos living abroad, I came here with a goal to work hard, support my family, and build a better future. And and I followed the tradition path and get a job, show up every day, do my best, and hope that someday things will get easier. But deep inside, I knew something was missing. No matter how hard I worked, my time was still limited. My income dependent on my hours. Is there in there were moment there are moments that stuck, like I was doing everything right but still not moving forward. the way I wanted. That's when I introduced this business. But this business, my business, our business, my husband found this a few years ago. At first, um, I'm not believing in this business. I thought it was just another way to earn extra income, but I stayed, because of his learning, like progress, I stayed. I learned, I grow. I realized it gave me something more valuable than money. It gave me access to new knowledge, things I was never taught in school about finances, mindset, building something on my own, access to supportive community, people who uplift, guide, and believe in you even you're still learning, and access to opportunity to grow, to lead, to create something beyond a regular job. And most importantly, access to a different kind of life. One where I'm just surviving, but slowly building my freedom. Because the truth is, not everyone gets exposed to opportunity, right? So many people stay where they are because they know that they grow in there, but because they lack of access, and that's why I'm passionate about sharing this business opportunity to everyone. Not to convince everyone, but to open a door, because maybe you're like me before, working hard, doing your best. You're i- asking yourself, there's some more. If that's you, I want you to know this is legit, um, you know, um, help you to grow, to earn, and to have more access. So this business is not about income. It's not about um, what I'm saying is not about for yourself only, but to expand your vision. It's about growing as a person. It's about gaining access to your life. You know, and the best part, you don't have to figure out everything, right? So if you open to learn more, because sometimes one opportunity, one yes can change everything. So here my question for you. How long are you going to wait before you give yourself access to something more? If you feeling stuck and been working hard but still want to change, this might be opportunity you've been praying for. Don't ignore this feeling. Take an action today. Connect with us. If you are in the US, connect Sis Rona. If you are in India, Sis Nandini. Australia, Sis Dorcas. And Fiji, William. And PNG, Coach Jel. So ask your question, get the information, because nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So you don't need to be, I mentioned already, you don't be figure out everything. You just need to be willing to start. Say yes to growth, yes to new opportunity, yes to access. We are here ready to help you to get the first step. So that's all, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.